Hello and welcome to This Is What Came Out of Me, a podcast about anything and everything, but mostly pop culture from movies, TV, podcasts and YouTube. In each episode, I talk about things that have grabbed my interest and things that I think that you out there in the big wide world might be interested in. I'm SierraKiloBravo. Let's get into it. I've got a book review to start off this week. We're going to talk about Off-Season by Jack Ketchum. One of my favourite books of all time is The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum. I read it sometime last year and it instantly got me hooked on Ketchum and his style. Soon after that I read Stranglehold and also thoroughly enjoyed it. So when, for my birthday last year, Mrs. B gifted me a copy of Off-Season, I was absolutely over the moon. So what's it about? From Wikipedia, the story follows a group of friends from New York City who travel to Dead River, Maine for a week-long vacation by the coastline. Unbeknownst to them, however, a clan of inbred and cannibalistic savages has taken up residence in a secluded cave very near to them. And after night falls, they are attacked by the marauders, forcing them to become as depraved and barbaric as their tormentors in an effort to survive. So, did I like it? I really wanted to, but I really didn't. It was just a book version of your stock standard slasher horror B-movie. Maybe I was spoiled by reading The Girl Next Door and Stranglehold first, but this book does not reach the heights or the engagement levels of those other books. In fact, if I had read this book first, then I might not have been all that inclined to read any other works from Ketchum. It's not that it's bad writing or anything, it's just that I don't find books like this to be very interesting. For me, I need multiple levels and twists and turns and things like that to keep me interested. And Off-Season is just a straight point A to point B narrative. And with that, it takes a while to get to the point. It's only 300 pages long, but it takes almost 100 of them before anything actually starts to happen. I'm not opposed to blood, guts and gore in a book. I mean, one of my favourite books growing up was Erebus by Sean Hudson. But when it all started going down in Off-Season, it just had no impact. That might have been because I had no investment in the underdeveloped characters, or because I'd checked out mentally due to the length of time it took to get the story underway. Who knows? I also felt that the premise wasn't all that strong. I found it hard to imagine that an inbred family of cannibals could live undetected for at least 2 generations, possibly 3, in an area close enough for them to have access to regular amounts of human flesh. The book explains it away as the area being remote enough and having a rough enough coast that people might assume that the victims had been washed away or otherwise fallen victim to the elements. But the book itself negates this by having them close enough to homes to invade them, and even going so far as using naked girls wandering a highway as bait. Maybe I'm overthinking things, or maybe I went in expecting too much, but unfortunately I didn't enjoy this book all that much at all. Maybe to help you understand it, to describe it from a movie point of view, this book is more Green Inferno than it is, say, The Shining. So what else has been happening out there in the big wide world? Well, unless you've been living under a rock, you probably heard that in the United States recently there was an eclipse. Of course, living in the age that we do, there was 10 million posts about this on YouTube and social media. And in the past couple of weeks, I've watched quite a few of these because I find eclipses and things of this sort to be very interesting. And I find space and the universe to be both terrifying and enthralling all at the same time. Of all the videos that I looked at, there was one very simple one that stuck out to me the most. This was from a channel called Vox, which usually focuses on news and current events. And yes, I guess the eclipse was a current event, but the style of the video was something quite different to their usual format. In this case, the video was much more of a vlog style and followed a couple and their dogs as they climbed to the top of a 9,700 foot mountain in order to view the eclipse. It was really cool, and the visuals of the eclipse itself were quite stunning. Because they were so high up, they had a huge, wide, uninterrupted sky, and by using a wide-angle lens, they emphasized how much space was above them. And the actual shots of the eclipse itself, because of all that extra space, looked absolutely amazing. You get a super clear image of what it would have been like to experience it in real life. It's only a minute and a half long, but it's well worth a look. In fact, if you're watching the YouTube version of this podcast, I've included some of the visuals from the video. And in any case, there's a link to the video in the show notes. Another really cool thing to come across my radar at the hands of my friend Yukiyame on Mastodon was this most recent Saturday morning. A group of us went down a funk music rabbit hole, kicked off by the organ used in the background music on my vlog episode 169. In that discussion, Yukiyame mentioned a band called Vulfpeck, and damn, what a cool band. They're a four-piece group who have been around only since 2011, but they sound like they've been around for years. They're described as an American funk group influenced by the rhythm sections of the past. They've got a 70s lounge club vibe, and if you don't start foot tapping along with their songs, then you have to admit that you have no soul. Here's a quick example. But what also caught my interest about these guys was their YouTube channel. Not only do they post their music videos on them, but they have video essays on music. They've got this cool vintage sun-bleached feel to them, the videos that is, like they've been filmed on an 8mm camera or an SX70 or even an over-the-shoulder VHS. They're so damn cool, and I'm insanely jealous of how they use the audio and the visuals to elicit a feeling of nostalgia while educating you about music at the same time. A case in point is their Holy Trinities series, and particularly the latest episode called
Minimalist Funk Arrangers. Reinhold Mack.
Another one bites the dust.
Another one bites the dust. Greatest bass sound of all time? I asked Reinhold on Facebook how he got that sound.
The breakdown of music and its various components is brilliant, and it's all done with a sharp eye for style and content. Absolutely recommend that you check that out. Carrying on with the music theme, my friend Nihilore has released a new album. He's a Sydney-based musician and creates fantastic electronic music tunes. Think Stranger Things, Beyond the Black Rainbow and Blade Runner, those types of vibes, and you'll have a good idea of what he puts out. I've put a link to the album and his YouTube channel in the show notes, so make sure you check him out and get some good chill-out music in your ear holes. Well, that's all for this time. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out the notes for links to the various things I've covered today. Until next time, I'm SierraKiloBravo, and this is what came out of me.